Hey everybody, Bart from Bicycle Rider YouTube, and I am here and I'm very excited to introduce the 2022 Specialized Roubaix Comp with the new Sram AXS Rival group set. So this bike is very exciting. One, because it is available, and as you know, bikes have been in short supply and even untouchable. So I do own a bicycle shop in Biloxi, Mississippi. We are a Specialized dealer, and these bikes are in the store. So I'm just saying that so you can go to your local Specialized dealer and be able to possibly put your hands on one of these. They are in short supply, so there's not going to be a ton of them out there. But if you do want a really nice road bike that can do multiple things and do it comfortably, do it efficiently, the Specialized Roubaix has been a rock solid performer. It's one of those bikes, owning a bike shop. I have a lot of friends that come up to me and they want a bike. Choices have been limited in what I can suggest to them lately. But when supplies are flowing full, I usually go to a Specialized Roubaix. Someone wants to raise the bar, get a modern geometry, someone that wants an efficient bike, someone that wants a tough bike, something that I feel really good about selling and knowing it's a robust bike that is going to ride well under multiple conditions. The Specialized Roubaix is a solid bike for that. Right off the bat, let me let you know, this bike comes in about $4,800. There's not a lot of negotiations you can do on a bike right now. So basically the deal is being able to actually put your hands on this bike. And if you have price bikes, in the modern age now, that $4,800 for a modern geometry bike with electronic group set is actually a really good deal in itself. So exciting news is they're out. They're fabulous. This one just hit the bicycle shop, so I haven't had time to do a whole lot of riding on it. One lucky deal is I am selling this bike to a good friend of mine, and he doesn't mind if I take a spin on it. So as you can see, I just threw some flat pedals and I did a quick ride around the shop and down through the neighborhood, and this bike rides fantastic. One, it's comfortable. Two, it's fast. Three, I could just see how this bike is really a multi-purpose bike, and you can set it up several different ways. A lot of people do want a more efficient bike. When you're on a road bike and maybe an older road bike and you're getting dropped by the local group, of course, a lot of people say it's the engine, not the bike. But with today's technology, a bike makes a huge difference. And this bike actually has, the Roubaix has a very long race pedigree. Even though it's an endurance bike, it's built tough, it's robust, it is a race bike. This thing is a urban assault weapon. This thing is a group ride, you take down your friends type of bike. But it also does it on a comfortable aspect, and it does it very robustly with a really solid build. Along with a solid build comes a little bit more weight. I'm going to weigh this bike on the scale, but roughly this bike comes in at like 19 and a half pounds stock. And that is with the new Sram Rival group set, which is, it's not a lightweight group set, but it's not a heavyweight group set. What it does is gives you a lot of functionality. And with SRAM, you can interchange a lot of the modern SRAM components. So if you did want to lighten this up for some reason, I think 19 and a half pounds is a very respectable weight for this bike. But if you are a weight weenie and you wanted to lighten it up, the rear derailleur on the SRAM Rival, can be lightened up to a SRAM Red. The cassettes can be lightened up. The crank set itself can be lightened up. But I'm going to be honest and say, don't be such a weight weenie unless you are really planning on A group riding this bike. It does give you the options, but at 19 and a half pounds, this bike is just like fantastic the way it is. Ride it, love it, enjoy every bit of it, and don't worry about it being 19 and a half pounds, because really that's not a bad weight. And I did mention the crank set on this bike. It is the newer style crank set that is upgradable with a power meter already. So I think you can put a power meter in this crank set for like $300. Awesome. It's very stiff. It puts the power down. I just tried it, and this crank set is great. This whole bike actually rode super nice. There's another YouTube creator, GC Performance. He really goes into the details of a lot of the components, and I'm not going to take the time in my video to do that. So, you know, if you want to see a good detailed video, check out GC Performance because he did a great job on it. I'm doing this on the fly here outside on Biloxi Bay. We are going to take this bike into the studio and do a deep dive. But real quick, let me just show you some of the highlights of this bike. First highlight is it's available. You know, it's in your local Specialized shop, or it will be soon. Two, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this is the red tint model, and it's a red tint gloss. This bike is absolutely stunning. The styling characteristics of the 2022 Roubaix are awesome. It is just as aero as the Tarmac SL6 was. And aerodynamics does play into effect when you're out on a group ride and you're busting some wind and you have an aerodynamic bike. It does make a difference. It makes a difference in performance, but also mentally, I think if you know you're on a bike that's aerodynamic and you're out front on the group, it just gives you that extra edge to know that your bike is not holding you back. And this Specialized Roubaix does not hold you back. It comes in at $4,800, which if you've priced bikes lately, you know, $4,800 is a wad of cash. But if you ask me, it is a bargain for everything you get on this bike. One, with a SRAM, you know, electronic group set. This is the new Rival group set, and I'm going to go into a whole nother video with that, but it is a fantastic group set. The Rival is the lowest tier of the SRAM's electronic group sets, and it's available. It's compatible, so you can swap parts and do so many things with this group set with other SRAM group sets. SRAM red cassettes, SRAM rear derailleurs, you know, several different options on chain rings. There's just so many good things to this electronic group set. People ask me, you know, is it finicky, is it tough? Absolutely, SRAM makes a great product. These electronic group sets have really come a long way, and if you ask me, you know, I suggest them highly because of usability. It's just easy to use this, so people don't cross chain, and it does a lot of the thinking for you. It's smooth, it's quick. It's this one has 2 batteries, so you know, people ask about the battery performance. Charge your batteries every once in a while, but if you do happen to be on a ride and your battery goes dead, you can swap the rear with the front with the rear. Super easy. One of the things about the rear, this bike is the Future Shock 2.0. So it is a fully dampened, you know, system up here to help suspend the rider, not the bike. So you're not losing a bunch of energy through this bike. And this one is very adjustable. So you can completely lock it out, or you can dial it in, whichever way you want for, you know, for the performance or for the road conditions that you're on. I'm not going to go into details with the actual, you know, components of this bike, but just know it's new components. They're solid. The brakes are hydraulic brakes. The hoods feel great. The SRAM AXS, you know, Rival has only been out for a short time, but SRAM backs up their products. So, you know, I'm here to say that this group set's going to work problem free. It does come with a nice set of wheels. So we've got some DT Swiss wheels on it, the R470s, which are a solid option. You know, one thing you could do if you ever did want to upgrade your bike is, you know, put a different set of wheels on it. So you can go for some Roval carbon, some zips. I mean, there's so many different options. But the wheel set that they put on this bike is solid. And I think you have to, you know, a bike manufacturer like Specialized, they do a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure when they build a bike for a certain purpose, or in this case for multiple purposes, that you have a solid build set, but you can always, you know, upgrade and change from there. So, you know, this bike comes in at 19.5 pounds. I'm going to weigh it myself. It's not a featherweight bike, but it's a solid bike. I have some friends that, you know, bought some gravel bikes because that's what they can get their hand on. They're loving the multiple purposes that you could use a gravel bike for, but some of them are running out of gear. Now there's with the Roubaix, it comes stock with 30 millimeter tires, if that tells you anything. You can go up to, I've seen 33 millimeter tires. I've seen people put gravel tires on a Roubaix and use it as a gravel bike, a very fast gravel bike at that. And I have a lot of friends that, you know, are using one bike for gravel riding, road riding, you know, urban assaults. And this bike is perfect for it because you can get a lot of comfort out of this bike, and it's tough as nails. It's a great bike to suggest to some of my friends. This bike here is actually going to one of my friends, Dave, who, bless your heart, Dave, you are so strong. You're not a lifetime cyclist, and you're tough on equipment. When I sell a bike to Dave, it pretty much comes with a lifetime guarantee. I've got to be careful what Dave rides, since I'm liable for anything that goes wrong with that bike, whether it be his fault or the bike's fault. I don't mind, Dave. I love you, man. This bike I feel good selling to Dave because I know it's tough enough to handle what Dave's going to put out with an electronic group set. And Dave's, he doesn't consider himself a lifetime cyclist, so this bike does a lot of the thinking for Dave as far as when he shifts a gear or something. This electronic group set knows, what gear basically that he shouldn't be in, and trims the front derailleur automatically. It's just a real good, solid bike for Dave. And here, in Biloxi, Mississippi, it's not known as a huge cycling mecca. We don't have a lot of purpose-built bike paths. We do have a lot of awesome country road. This bike is fabulous on chip seal. It's fabulous on these broken up country roads that we have where there's no cars. We do a lot of urban riding. So when you're doing urban assaults, basically, we're going over, bridges that have expansion joints. This bike smooths that kind of stuff out, and it's tough enough that you don't feel bad, kind of bashing it on the concrete sidewalks. Now I have to throw the caveat, I've had some people buy, similar bikes, and they've cased a curb trying to do a bunny hop. Well, I'm sorry, but there's not many wheels that are gonna handle casing a curb. Now, when you wrap a DT Swiss wheel with a 30 millimeter tire, it is gonna give you more protection than, a 23 millimeter tire on an older race wheel or something like that. So, these wheels are tough, but they also do have limitations. Even with a gravel bike, you have to be careful about, casing a curb or something like that. These wheels are tubeless ready. These tires aren't, but it's easy to swap some tires and make this a tubeless setup. And I think a lot of people are going that way. It's just a great bike. Like I said, I wanted to do a quick video on this bike and let you know that I have ridden it around the neighborhood. But luckily, this is going to a friend of mine that is going to let me, do some more riding on it. And if anybody can test a bike to its capabilities, Dave is going to be able to do that. So luckily, we're going to have this bike here in Biloxi, Mississippi, riding with our local groups, and that's going to be on gravel, urban, multiple situations. And this bike is definitely a speed weapon for that type of thing. It does not have utilitarian racks, so it'd be a harder bike to mount racks and stuff too. But that's where this bike goes into its race pedigree. So if you want a very fast, a very comfortable, a very robust bike that does multiple things, look at the Specialized Roubaix. Definitely look at the Specialized Roubaix right now because, a lot of bikes just aren't available at the moment. And I think, Specialized coming in with this bike, $4,800, that is available, is go get one while you can. If you need any help with anything, any questions on the Roubaix, we are going to have this bike in our hands. And like I said, we're going to do more detailed review, many more detailed reviews on this bike. So just stay tuned to the Bicycle Rider YouTube. And, if you like our channel, please hit subscribe. I do have a scale, so let me see if I can throw this on a scale real quick. Like I said, I know this bike comes in at about 19.5 pounds because we waited at the shop, and of course I waited at the shop and the scale was working, and now we have a scale that is not turning on. Either that or it's so bright out here I can't see the LEDs. Well, this bike is 19.5 pounds, and it can be lightened up if you choose to, or just ride it as it is and enjoy a 19.5 pound bike that feels lighter, that rides very agile. You throw this bike into a corner or something, it just wants to rip. I get excited talking about this bike because I have a passion for bikes. I have a passion for riding bikes, and this bike is one of those bikes that does let you ride fast. It lets you ride agile. It corners, it climbs, it does so much. I'm happy about the 2022 Roubaix. I hope you will be too. Look forward to more videos coming from the Bicycle Rider YouTube on the Specialized Roubaix. All right, thank you very much. Over and out.